Moving day. I'm scared. Hello, episode 26, moving day. Well, I'm gonna start the moving process today. I'm not committing to finishing the moving process. Besides, I do have waystones, so leaving things over here, it's easy enough to go back and forth. The first thing we're gonna do is some technical testing. And I need to break the controller of my drawers, which is a little bit scary. Can I suck it up with the magnet? Yes. And then we're gonna head out to my lands, as in islands that's mine. This place. I mean, this is just one island. The other island is down here. And let's just have a little fly around of the new home. This place is really quite massive for a mycelium island. And I've got some really rather large plans for this island. Really rather large. Yes, I want to turn this island into a modern island. I want to build a city. Ouch. And that is something I don't think I've done earlier. And it's a massive undertaking. It's not going to happen in one episode or in 5 episodes. But hopefully over time, this entire island will be turned into some sort of modern city. And I want to start it by building a very central and important part of the city, a warehouse. And the cool thing is that it's going to be a fully functional warehouse, which is why I need to do some technical tests. Well, first of all, I need to remove this mushroom, because I think this is a pretty good location right here in the northeast center of the island. Now, drawers, as you know, can be connected to a drawer controller, and when they are, anything I put in the drawer controller, as long as it has a target, for example these mushrooms, will go into the drawer. I think I've also said that the range can be extended by using these blocks, trim blocks. They're basically like cables. So now if I put the drawer here and put some mushroom in it, this mushroom will still travel to there. Now what I need to test though is the range, because I believe that the range is 12 to either side and up and down, but I want to confirm that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if I put one on the 13th block, I don't think that I'll be able to put these mushrooms in anymore. Nope. However, if I move it to the 12th block, and I can actually test this with my keys instead, it's a little bit easier. If I put the lock key on, we should see a padlock. Yes! So it is 12 blocks, as I expected. And that measurement is going to be super important, because I want to maximize the use of my controller. I mean, after all, they are really quite expensive. Double poggage. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Break that, put a drawer there. That is the total width of the warehouse. And it's a pretty decent size. I mean, this doesn't mean that I can't have a drawer here, or I can even have a drawer here. Diagonals doesn't matter here. It's just literally a cube. 11 and 12. 10, 11 and 12. So this would be the total size that one controller can cover, plus up 12 and down 12. I mean, that would definitely be enough space for a warehouse, but I think I want something a little bit larger. In theory, if I can afford it, I could put down another controller and extend the warehouse into this size. Oh, for goodness sake. You live here too? Useless wandering traders. Yes, that is a rectangular, the giant cross at the moment, but that is a rectangular shaped warehouse, which makes more sense to me. I mean, that's for where the drawers can be placed, and then I guess I should mark out how big the warehouse would actually be, leaving 2 blocks out on either side. Yes. It looks really stupid being across right now, though. Anyway, first things first. Can I afford another controller? Put you back in your safe space. And that should instantly load up all of the drawers if I flick the lever. Ah! There we go. I'm going to need 2 pogs, and I think I have 1. Yes, I do have 1. And with that, I can actually make another one, by the looks of things. Perfect. Big investment, but it's a big day. So next, I have to decide the height of this build. And it's going to be important because I don't want too many slopes and things like that on this island. So most of the buildings should be the same height. I have a tendency to overthink these things, so I'm just going to go with 70. That feels like a good random number. So with that, time to create a big stone platform. $1,600 stone later, it's a great foundation. And I just love how the minimap slowly but surely turns. Now the way I want to build this warehouse, because it's going to be functional, is from the inside out. I want to design some warehouse shelves. And for some reason in my head, I'm thinking light blue. I don't think that space will be an issue here, so I want to make sure to try and make something that makes the whole thing look like a warehouse. This is going to be extremely hard to picture, but this will be one shelf and this will be another giant shelf. And the theory is that I should be able to walk through and walk around and look at all the things in drawers. I think I may have a little bit of an idea. Trapdoor? Framed trapdoors. Oh, I'm gonna need a lot of scaffolding for this. So 8 of these makes 8 frames. And frames can be used to make trapdoors. Oh my goodness! That's a lot of advancements. Now these are very special trapdoors because they can be turned into any block, including orange concrete. Oh, that's very warehousey to me. So then the idea would be to have my drawers sitting here. It's very different from what I normally would do, but I quite like it. It's weird, but I'm definitely getting that warehouse, modern warehouse shelf feeling. I have, however, realized that with this size shelves, I would need a total of 2 shelves. And that would probably be enough for all my drawer needs. But now that I'm committed to this size warehouse, I'm not gonna change that because I think that will still look good. And besides, I could use space inside the warehouse to store other things, like for example, all my Omega statues. However, before I fully commit to this thing, I want to put up some walls. So I've made up 1,000 concrete powder, and that's probably not going to be anywhere near enough, but I do want to use white concrete as part of this modern warehouse. And actually, I do need to turn this into concrete, don't I? I wonder if I can be a little bit cheeky here with doing that. If I just place down all of my concrete powder in a nice flat surface. I get a very white floor. No, my plan then is to drop water on top, which is easier said than done. And then I vein mine. Now the question is this faster than the vanilla way of doing it? Oh, hello there. Anyway, now that I have some of it as concrete, I am going to start putting up some walls just to get a little bit of a feeling of this being an actual building and not just a stone plate in the middle of mycelium. Now, this would have to be a rather tall warehouse. Actually, I think that's a good look. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm gonna need a lot more white concrete though. Not gonna lie, that was a bit of a grind, but I now have a white box. And this thing is rather large. And I do really like the footprint for a warehouse on a map. That looks so strange. It looks like a chunker on a map right now. Now the first thing I should do is get an entrance in, and I got a bit inspired to maybe do a diagonal type of entrance. Hello? There are no mobs in here. This is a mycelium island. That looks really strange, but I quite like it. And then, of course, I don't want to leave this just a white box. It has to have some sort of texture and architecture. And yes, this is brilliant architecture right here. Just a pillar straight up. See? Did a lot. And actually, a real modern warehouse has docks. Not like a pirate dock, but like a thing where lorries unload and load their stuff. And they usually look something like this, and then this would be a hole, and then the lorry reverses in to this hole, like so. Doot, doot, doot. and then the unloading or loading happens. I think that would be a really cool way of having items transported into the warehouse, because I imagine I'm going to build farms and factories and production things and stuff like that around this island, and I do want everything stored here, so I could illustrate it by having actual docks. Yeah, I'm quite inspired by this idea actually. I should have done them from the inside instead, because this doesn't quite line up. That's better. And then as far as the inside goes, I'm picturing some form of reception as I come in, and then maybe a doorway that leads into the warehouse here. Because let's be honest, we gotta have a reception. Now for my modern warehouse, I do need to consider modern lights, and luckily I have, as part of the decoration unlock, unlocked more lights, which gives me a few different things, including the mod Simply Lights. And Simply Light has a simple light bulb. Ah, very nice. And illuminant slab, which can be turned into illuminant panel. Ooh, I really like these lights. Super modern. Hello? Very, very, very cool lighting. I'm a big fan. This feels very much to me like a warehouse. And I've done some more things. A reception. Yes, hello there. I need to work on my reception voice. A window. The doorway. And space dock. I don't know what's with me, but I cannot unsee space duck, but I really like the orange. For some reason today, orange is a very good color, and I think I may keep it, even though I do realize that this will forever be space duck. Now the next thing I want to tackle with my warehouse, because yes, right now it is definitely, most definitely a warehouse. But the next thing I want to tackle with it is the floor. And I've been considering this block here, the concrete. Well, it's a modern concrete, and I absolutely love this block. The only problem is that making it would require me to go engineer's decor, which is a cool mod, don't get me wrong, but it's not super useful right now, and I don't think it's worth investing knowledge in. However, I have managed to get 1,368 of this block from the statues. So that may or may not be enough. Now, if I was a smart Iskall man, I would... Now, if I was a little bit clever, I would simply do the math and figure out exactly how many blocks I would need to fill this entire floor with concrete. But that sounds like a lot of work. So instead, I'm just going to start filling it. And if I run out of blocks, well, then I'm going to have to redo it, which is potentially even more work. Good news! It's going to be enough! But no good news without bad news. It turns out that this is not the block that I had tested with. You ready for this? This is concrete, and this is rebar concrete. And for some reason I've got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 rebar concrete blocks, and the rest of it was just concrete. And I think this is slightly nicer, but there's nothing I can do. I believe that I've probably got these blocks inside the vault, inside the factory room. So if I ever come across that again, I may be doing some mining for decorational purposes because I do really like it. But for now, I'm just gonna sprinkle it out a little bit like this to make the whole thing look a little bit more worn. Well, I should say enough concrete, but not for the front desk reception, which is fine because I'd want something slightly nicer in there. Light gray concrete. With a nice, welcoming orange carpet. I don't like it. That's awful. Ugh, that's better. Very clean and fancy. And that's really important, considering this is now my bedroom. Yes. Don't worry, I'm just in between houses at the moment. While I'm on the market for a new house, I'm simply gonna have to sleep here at night. And if I'm completely honest, it's not just sleeping that I'm gonna have to do in the warehouse temporarily. I'm also gonna have to live, which means I need to produce power, access my stuff, and grow bamboo in the warehouse until further notice. Right, here we go. First, unplug the power. Done. Secondly, unplug my storage system and all my items. And then plug it back in as neatly as possible. Aha! Next, I gotta shelf the rest of my drawers because right now I can't access any of the stuff in my drawers, which makes my entire possession of items quite scarce. I mean, I've got 3 lead nuggets here and 2 tables. Ooh, and a chair. Don't forget the chair. But yeah, as I say, the more important things are still in drawers in the fort. And for some reason, moving drawers is one of those things that always scares me. Because what if I'd lose a drawer? Yeah, look at that. There's a cheeky drawer over there. Oof. Gotta make sure to not lose a single one because they do contain a lot of valuables. Well, all of my valuables are in these drawers. And these drawers come with me. And these. This one boss crate is very boss right now. It's very, very, very valuable. And the fort is looking rather pillaged. Now, one of the things I did with these drawers when I was building the shelves was to change them into a full stripped birch looking thing, which in my opinion makes them look a little bit more like a crate, a warehouse crate. And well, this is a warehouse, so yep, I gotta change all of my drawers to match the new style, these drawers here. But apart from that, it should be as easy as just putting all of these up. And since I have my refined storage system accessing all of these drawers, I don't really care about what order they go in. Like, I don't need to put wood next to each other, etc, etc. Because, well, refined storage will organize everything for me. And look at that! The first shelf is actually filled! And I think it looks really cool to have different heights and different crate order in the top there. Next up, before I put up the next shelf with all of the special super drawers, I'm gonna try and connect this up. So, my drawer controller is gonna go here, and at this point in time I can actually remove all of these trim blocks because they were only for measuring things out, which means that I need more concrete that I may not actually have. I just realized. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this up on the bottom face of my controller using the trim blocks like this, and then underneath the shelves, these blue blocks here are actually framed trim. Just like you can change a drawer, you can change a trim block. And so it looks like light blue concrete, just a structure of the shelf, but it's actually a technical cable block. And as long as one of these is connected to all of the other drawers, this should potentially or hopefully connect everything up together. So this drawer controller should be connected to all of these drawers. Let's see, lock it, and that should unlock everything. Yes, and then lock it back up. We got the padlock. Things are looking really good, although I can't see the padlock up there. But yeah, it is working. And then on this side, yep, That's looking good. So then the next step is to take my external storage part and connect it to the drawer controller like that. I'm going to set the priority once again to very high. I want everything to go in drawers first. And then I just have to wire one of these cables all the way over to the lobby or to the reception, to my temporary house. Hopefully, if I've done everything correctly, this should now work and the drawers should be hooked up once again to my refined storage system. Yes! It works! Thank goodness for that. So with that, time to make my second shelf. And once again, in the bottom, I'm going to need to have one trim block. That's a trim block painted blue. And then the rest of these are actual concrete. And then all I got to do is connect that one trim block, that one, up to these real trim blocks. And that is connected back to the controller. And that should be all good. Which means that I can now start stacking my special drawers. Aha! This shelf does look a bit silly. But I'll fill it up as time passes. Now let's see if I can access my echo gems from the reception. Echo gems. Yes! Oh, thank goodness. Everything is working. Whew. That is a gigantic relief. With that means that I have moved. I've moved my livelihood to the warehouse. Temporarily. I'm not personally, as I said, I'm in between houses right now. I'm not going to live in the warehouse, but it is going to be my storage house for all my items and richities. Which means that these chunks here are really rather important to this world. I've just realized that there's one very important thing missing in my temporary house. I spoke with the manager. It's fine. They are acceptant of my temporary living, and that includes my sofa as well as my globe. Brilliant. Of course, I'm going to continue to use the fort for just a little bit longer for all the other things, including my potion-making machine of doom, because I'm not temporarily moving this thing. Once I move it, it's going to be permanent. But I think it's a really fun idea to make a city on the Mycelium Islands and then have dedicated functioning buildings for each sort of module of my base. So now we have the warehouse, and then we'll have some sort of brewery station and then of course all the farms. And yeah, I think it's a really, really fun base idea. It's going to be a big one. It's going to take time, but I'm very, very excited about it. As far as my Omega statues go, they should actually also be moved into the warehouse. I'm kind of picturing them as delivered valuables that sit here. But I am going to make this functional, and so going to need some more trim blocks and then just connect them up together with the controller. Brilliant. Every warehouse has that unorganized pile of stuff just sitting in the corner, and this is my unorganized pile sitting in that corner, and that's gonna grow with more mega statues and stuff like that. I like that. Maybe I'll mix this up and add some barrels here as well, just to further emphasize the chaos. Nice. Now the only other storage thing I can think about right now at the moment would be my ores, as in my treasury. And I don't think I want to store these in the warehouse. I think I'd rather try and build an excavation site or something like that in the city, and then these can all be stored smartly in that excavation site so that they're easy to access and stuff like that, but also adds to the look and feel of a quarry. I'm happy with this. I've got a warehouse. I mean, granted, it looks very out of place on its own on this gigantic mushroom island right now at the moment, but it's the first build of the city, which I'm super excited about. My base plans of filling this entire island with a modern looking city is something that excites me a lot. It's gonna take time, but it's just one of those exciting, fun projects. That being said though, next time I feel like running a lot of vaults. I may do a megasode of progression next time because, well, I didn't get to run any vaults today because this took a long time to make, including getting all the resources. I'm very happy I did it though. But with that, that's gonna do it for today. I really do hope that you have enjoyed this episode. That was a nice loop right there. How did I do that? I really do hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, do hit the like button down below. And if you're brand new, consider subscribing. And I will see you in the next episode.